Selamlar, and welcome back to the Ottoman campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. And we're still at peace. We are good relations to most nations, except for Britain, who keeps trying to antagonize me. They kind of got a navy again, so if they really want to fight, we could give them a fight. Everyone else is also peaceful. I had to go in and edit the save files and end some wars here. Because there were a lot of nations at war with, okay, Japan actually has 3 ships now. Netherlands has 1. But at war with nations that had basically no navy at all. Which meant that neither side got any victory points and the wars just wouldn't end. So, none of the AI nations were growing, basically. But I fixed that, and now they are growing, so we can actually have someone to fight in the late game. Except for Britain, which is still shrinking, despite being at peace. I don't know what's up with that. Sometimes the AI just does that. I've tried to fix that in the past, but I don't know what causes it. Anyway, we're gonna design some ships. First off, we got some cruiser hulls that are about to go obsolete. Experimental light cruiser and scout cruiser. So let's see if it's worth building anything on those. And then we also have modernized Dreadnought 2 is now available. Dreadnought 3 will be available in a year or so. We got some new battlecruisers. Battlecruiser 6 is now available. Torpedo research is, well, finished, maybe not, but at least we're getting oxygen-fueled torpedoes in 6 months. And at that point, any improvements after that will be, like, very incremental. Barely noticeable. 6 months is also when we're getting the double-geared steam turbines, which are good engines for destroyers and torpedo boats. So that's good. And 70 months, that's a long while, but we are now researching towards Radar Rangefinder 1. So that is nice. Let's get to building. It's gonna be another shipbuilding episode, 2 in a row. Yeah. Alright, modernized Dreadnought 2. Let's just take a quick look at it and see if it's, well, you can make it big. That's for sure. That's that tower. Basically the same. Is this the one that can fit 2 funnels? Not 2 of these. No. Anyway. Experimental light cruiser and scout cruiser. They are the ones that will disappear. Both can be made quite fast. $10,000 tons is very big. $7,200 is the minimum. There we go. Kind of like in the middle. Let's say 32 knots. Can we keep it at cramped quarters? Maybe, maybe not. Towers are not amazing in terms of spotting range. But they kind of do look neat. How slim can I make it without the tower not fitting? -5? I think we can do that. This tower does not fit. This tower still fits. Did you fit here? Wasn't there a funnel slot on that main tower? Or it just looks that way? You can fit 2 of those. How about 2 of the intermediary ones? Yes. Nice. We can make this work. Let's just see if this tower fits right up against the step. It doesn't. There's a gap. We can pretend not to notice that. We got oil 2 now, minus 10 maintenance cost. It is pretty good. We're gonna go standard turbines on this. Keep it cheap. Balanced boilers is also an option now. Minus 5% maintenance cost. Yeah, we're still thinking like cost effectiveness here. The Mark IV 7-inch guns are not coming quite yet. We can go ahead and mount the Mark IIIs, because this will get a refit when the radar becomes available. That's a huge barbette. That's much bigger than I need. Let's mount that there. Do you still work? Yes. Now this thing will carry torpedoes. Let's give them some room. Because they're gonna have to grow when I make them 24-inch. Like so. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. That's nice. We got a Cordite 3 now. Let's do the rest of the ship. Let's try and make it reasonably priced. Because that's kind of the thing with light cruisers. You want them stationed around. It's like consistently go for not the best options. Enhanced reloading. Electrical 1. What is now my flash fire chance? 3.9%. The barbettes don't weigh much. Because the turrets don't. 3%. That's plenty safe. Good range. Very good range. I gotten yes, I've got the Mark IV 3-inch guns. Form factor is not amazing on these. The singles can kind of fit in some places. There we go. Not in the way of anything. Yes, I could mount this turret just on the floor. On the deck, rather. I mean, yes, and the torpedo launchers no longer, like, block the line of sight. But that looks a bit weird. It does not fit on that barbette. What's the shortest barbette I can fit a 7-inch on? It doesn't work. But if I move it like back here... Now the torpedo launchers actually block the line of sight, but the X turret can superfire. The green circle is uninterrupted. Well, it's visually uninterrupted, but you don't have this orange checkering thing. That's weird, that it no longer superfires over the torpedo launchers. Strange things. But that means I can put these back here. These are going to be pretty good at dealing with destroyers, I think. No oxygen-fueled torpedoes yet, but we can get those when we refit this with the radar. No sonar yet either. Recon 95. Alright, plenty of displacement left for armoring. 106 million price tag. It's not too bad. Maintenance 4 million a month. I guess that's not too bad either. I guess it's just not possible to put anything here. We can slap on some armor. We got plenty of displacement left for armoring this thing. Let's make these 55s. That's pretty nice. Let's make them 7.5s. Now we're starting to be able to deal with enemy light cruisers quite effectively. I can put 10 inches of armor on these turrets. Let's give the A turret a slightly better arc of fire. Because I assume these turrets will grow a bit in size when we make them Mark IV. They typically do. $5.1 million. Let's see. That's almost equal to 10 inches of effective. Which isn't that... that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, we're increasing the cost of the ship now, but yeah, plenty of tonnage to spare. Not really sure how to spend it without just making it really expensive. Because that's the one of the design goals of this ship. Making it affordable. And we can still not go through 6 inches of armor at any decent range though. So maybe still not that good at dealing with enemy light cruisers. There we go. We are almost at the weight limit. Almost. That's a lot of ammo. I don't think we need the increased ammunition. I think heavy shells would actually benefit us more. A little bit more damage, a little bit more penetration. Yeah. That's it. And yeah, the my improved ship name file started working. So now my ships get names again. And they're not just names of caliphs and viziers. So there's a little bit more variation. Mainly rivers and mountains, because it was quite easy to just look that up on Wikipedia, find the list, and then copy-paste. And I'm a little bit lazy like that. Now the scout cruiser is now also available, and this one has pretty good tower spotting on these main towers, and they're not like horribly tall, ugly main towers like our other one. Okay, I think I can dig this. 33 knot max top speed. Let's make you 32 for now. This might be the affordable option that I've been looking for. Oh, yeah, funnels, of course. That's something you need on a ship. $45 from the best one. The smaller ones are 31. Like, not a big difference in weight. Kind of like the look of these wider ones, but they are very big. Do I need 2 funnels on this? Maybe not. Now let's go with the narrower funnels. And maybe we can have enough room to place some secondaries. Come on. I guess that's as close as I can get it. Back up to 5,000 tons. Oil 2, balance spoilers. Yeah, we don't need 2 funnels on this. I'm gonna pick one of the wider ones just for looks. There we go. That'll leave us with a little bit of deck on the back there for torpedo purposes. I think that's the most I can get. Make them 24-inch and they get pretty big. They can still rotate, right? Yes. I have learned that the hard way, that you need to double check for when the game just lies to you. Put that there, that kind of looks like it belongs. This time, are we going with 6 or 7-inch guns? Okay, you only fit on that specific spot. Alright. I think 6 for now. That'll do. Let's once again pick the not most expensive choice. Except for when, you know, picking the ammunition. Go heavy shells again, yes. Electrical? 3.6 flash fire is not bad. Engine efficiency is decent enough. Cost is very low, 61 million. 2.3 maintenance. Yeah, this is affordable. This is a good budget light cruiser. We haven't done the armor yet, though. Ooh, yeah, we can possibly run into some problems here. We'll go with gear turbines. It does shave off some weight. Let's see, 6-inch turrets. You need a little bit of armor. Maybe a little bit more than that. Let's make you 6.1s. 6.1 55s. I would like to have my turrets not get blown up. That's pretty decent. They're pretty decent guns. Now I wonder if I go with a lighter main belt. 1.6 times 4 is 6.4? Yeah. 6.4 inches effective. And we do save some weight versus a straight up 6-inch main belt. So that's nice. We can do that. Price tag 70, almost 75 million. Maintenance almost 3. But we got no secondary guns yet. Can we squeeze them in somewhere? And can we make them 3.9s? Not these ones. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they work. But how about these? Do they work? No. They do not work. I can go with some singles instead of doubles. And those do work. Just making sure everything works. Right. Now was... I can save some weight by reducing the barbette protection. Flashfire chance is still pretty decent. Yeah, Aux 2 is heavier than Aux 1. We go minus 5.5. Then back up to 5,000. There we go. There we go. That is the Gomech class light cruiser. A very light cruiser. 3 million maintenance cost. And 5,000 tons. So they're a little bit, well, they're smaller than Aussie by quite a bit. But they're a little bit bigger than the Abul Majid and the Ahmed Pasha Andalovich class. They're actually cheaper than the refit Abul Majid. Refit is about the same. No, I mean maintenance is about the same. But we get another 4 knots of top speed. And yeah, that's about it. I get a better tower. Probably more accurate. Let's see what we want to build. Let's jump ahead a few months and get these into production, and then see what becomes available. Because these I had to design just now before the hulls just disappear. Alright, I put 4 of each into production. I had to once again reduce the tech budget because the shipyard development is getting really expensive. I looked at the files, and it's like 30,000 per ton. So each time you expand a shipyard, the next shipyard increases by some amount of tonnage. So it gets more and more expensive each time you expand the shipyards by 24 months. But at some point, your economy just becomes so big that the shipyard development becomes an insignificant cost. But early game and early to mid game, that's very expensive. So it's another one of those cases where the game just doesn't scale that well. Yeah, tech times went up a little bit, but just for a couple of months. Because we are very close to commissioning some quite expensive ships. And Germany is fighting Scandinavia, so the world is once again at war. And those ships we just built have become obsolete. With those ships commissioned, put on limited, and with their crew slightly reduced, we're now running a surplus again, monthly, even with these two maxed out. The crew training is not that expensive. I can probably reduce that a bit and still get a trained crew sooner or later. Anyway, let's build some more. I got some heavy cruiser hulls too now. And here we go. Heavy Cruiser 1. And what a beauty. I'm liking this hull. It's a very, very attractive hull. It can be made quite speedy. Let's go 30. I'm sure I could push it up to 32, but let's do it like this for now. We got some towers too, with great spotting. This is too wide. This is just right. This is quite a bit bigger though, so this time around, I'm gonna make my cruiser a little bit fatter. It's still a very, like, slim, elegant hull. Hull form 90. Resistance is good too. Anyway, secondary tower. Got different types of like dual barbette towers. This seems illegal, but that might work. That might work. All these funnels are pretty big. Let's just go for something that looks good. This is actually the lightest one, even if it's in the middle and not furthest right. So that's the one we're going with. With oil 2 and gear turbines. 121 million, 6,006, and a maintenance cost of 5.1. If we, hang on, let's go balanced first. 4.9. Oh, let's say 5. With the turbo electric, yeah, they're just way more expensive. We're gonna have these go at 28 knots initially, just because that's the speed of my other fast cruisers. I think so. And then we can increase that in the future. We're gonna have to move these further back a bit, because I see the possibility of an ABC turret layout. 10-inch guns are still Mark III. That quad looks interesting. Not that interesting. The twins are these like old German style turrets, but the 9s are Mark IV. I don't have improved or even advanced quad turrets. I've got improved but not advanced triple turrets. So we're going with the twins. That's still 6 barrels pointing forwards. And 4 aft. Yeah, they don't quite super fire, but that's alright. Should I go with a different secondary tower? Like put the wide barbette tower here. If it fits. I'm not sure. It does fit. And then move everything up ahead and have like a Q turret. Yeah, because we got a pretty big aft weight offset now. Do I need the 2 funnels? Not really, but I will use any excuse to use them. Let's put you there. Or can I find a, yes, because there's this barbette now. It looks a bit weird with those breakwater things overhanging like that, but we can pretend they are for some different purpose. Like attaching torpedo nets or something. Yeah, same as these ones. That's what they are. Clearly. These don't fit there. No, they don't fit there. These do. Come on. Oh, they're a little bit finicky. But I can make them work. Like so. So those funnels don't just look too naked. It's very important, you see. We don't have the same, like 3-inch turret models as we had on that other ship. No way. They actually fit on these barbettes? They do. But they look silly. I think the 3-inch turret model we had on that light cruiser, I think that was nicer to look at. It fit more as a secondary gun. Do these interrupt the sea turret? They don't. So they can stay there. Alright. Looking like a heavy cruiser now. And it's not too expensive, and we got very decent guns. We're gonna make it more expensive now, though. As things get added on. Go all the way up to anti-torp 4. I think that's probably excessive. It's gonna add a lot to the build time as well. Sticking with Citadel 3 for now. Flashfire chance. 5.1. That's serviceable. 6.4 with increased ammo. That's still pretty good. Let's go coincidence on this. Yes. Okay, so we got some tonnage to spare for armor purposes. Not that much. Which means we have to start reducing things. That should work. Let's say we go a 6-inch main belt. And then we can back that up by a decent second inner belt. 2.4, that's almost equal to 10. That cannot go through that. Because that may be at very point blank range. But we need to armor up the turrets as well. $50. At 55, we get pretty good range. There are early dreadnought battleships that don't have this kind of range. Can I make them 9.5s? I can. There we go. We can punch out the lights of some destroyers with this. Three-inch guns. Decent. Not as heavy of a secondary battery as some other cruisers I have. Which have 5-inch secondaries. But with a main battery of 10 9.5-inch Mark IV guns, Secondaries might not be that necessary. Yeah. Looks a little bit unorthodox with the Q turret here, I guess, or alternatively with this tower in between the X and Y turret, if you want to look at it that way. Well, that's fine. Ayvalik. I kind of like it. 213 million is kind of pricey. 8.4 maintenance. Also not the cheapest. But as the economy keeps growing, this will be more and more relatively cheap. Let's take a look at the new battlecruiser. And it is the beautiful Hood battlecruiser hull. That is nice. That's my favorite, most attractive looking battlecruiser hull in the game. And we can make this very speedy. Hull form 110. This might get expensive though. There we go. But has this been scaled down so you can't fit funnels on it? Might be the case. Let's find out. Yeah, I can only fit one funnel. And not even this one long funnel. Ah, that is disappointing. Maybe I will, yeah, it's the same on this one. Maybe I will get the better version of this tower eventually. That can fit more funnels on it. Sadly, you can't put one on the secondary tower here. That's not even 100% funnel cap. We then go back to this. One tall funnel here. A normal funnel here. And then just cover up this gap with some barbettes or something. These things. Maybe these. It kind of looks like it's a continuous superstructure. Maybe. Not ideal aesthetically, but it kind of works, I guess. We got that there. We got this one here. Now for main guns. We got Mark II 18s actually. Are we gonna go real big on this? Like a real big gun. Only Mark IIs though. Gonna have to move this barbette slightly further aft. You still work. You still work. Now that barbette is too small. As is this one, if I want to go 18s. Which, I'm kind of tempted to do that. Yeah, you work. I'd still like to have a wider barbette. The chi is just not working out here. Wow, you're very big. But the very large barbette. That works. And it's not too tall either. Which I like. There we go. That sparks joy. This is going to be a very expensive ship. I am aware. Yeah, we're probably going to be approaching 1 billion once it's all done. Standard ratio. I think these we're gonna have to go 2 powder on this probably, if we don't want to explode. Maybe not. Maybe not. 8.9. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not disastrous. 24-kilometer AP range. They're pretty short though. We can lengthen them. 9.4. 8.9. Yeah, we're gonna keep the turrets slow. Stereoscopic this time. Ah, we got some armor to start with. We've reached the point of the game where the game actually provides us with some default armoring. That is nice. That means we have a lot of displacement left to play with. 51. 50. $18.5 50s. 26-kilometer AP range. That's a pretty good punch we got there. A pretty good punch. Now, of course, sadly, there's no deck hits in this game. Whether modded or vanilla, they just don't happen. Oh yeah, bulkheads. A nice thing to have. So we're just not gonna bother with the deck armor. We are gonna bother with the rest of the armor though, because we got almost 6,000 tons to play with. Now let's do the turrets first. That's decent turret armor. Not valid empty bar. Oh yeah, these things. We're gonna find some stuff to stick on there. Ooh, we're closing in on the maximum now. There we go, maxed out. That means we gotta start reducing things. The things have to be reduced. That didn't reduce much. The range is pretty good. 20,000 kilometers. You can get far with that. I might reduce ammunition. That'll slightly reduce the flash fire chance as well. Because these are not really intended for very like long, prolonged battles. $14 on the conning tower. I can put more armor on that thing. Keep it from getting taken out. Now the inner belts. 4.8. That's almost 20 inches. That's 19.2 inches of effective. It's not bad. It's not going to keep me safe from these guns, though. But it might keep me safe from whatever the enemy ships are armed with which might not be 18-inch guns. So there. 6-inch Mark IV. Might have to play around with this barbette stuff a bit more. It'd be fun if I could fit some of these dual barbettes here. Oh, we're like almost. Because that would be sweet. Let's see if I can fit this first. And then have... Yes! That did work. Okay, I can't put my 6-inch guns here. That was maybe too ambitious, but we can... we can do it like that. And we're overweight. This will not have a very decent secondary battery. We can already tell that. These are going to be 3.9s though. .950s. We're 200 tons overweight. There's one gun that doesn't work here. Supposedly. I think it's fine. I can't put any side armor on the 3.9s. That is unfortunate. Yeah, we might be able to get away with this. We can get away with this, I think. Come on, this way. Are you still unhappy? For some reason? Yeah, you are. Never mind. Ooh. Minus, 0.5 then. Not enough to make me, not overweight. What's the maintenance cost? Here we go. Move the A and B turret further back. You still work? A turret still works. And there we go. 2 of the 2-inch guns have a poor sector of fire. That's fine. I don't care. We're saving this. Boruklu class heavy battlecruiser, which is also very fast. 35 million a month maintenance is quite something. So this is not going to be for mass production, but we can make a couple. We can make a couple of these. Because this is the kind of ship that will be, with refits, relevant way into the late game. Until the end of the campaign, basically. There we go. It gets to be on the thumbnail. Even with the yellow 2-inch guns here. Probably going to get some comments about that, but that's fine. Now, interestingly, I just noticed when those 2 light cruiser hulls went obsolete, the experimental and the scout light cruiser, I didn't really get any new light cruiser hulls to replace them. All I've got now is light cruiser 5, which I'm not sure if that is considered superior to the experimental and scout light cruisers. I think it's kind of the same. Where's hull form? Where's max optimal speed? Yeah, no, that might just be an oversight. But we have gotten new destroyers, which can be made pretty big. What's the best tower spotting tower on these? 3,000. I think that's one of those towers that won't fit if you reduce the beam. Let's find out. Never mind, it fits. If it fits, it sits. 40 resistance. Well, it's not quite up there with Destroyer 4. We also have Sloop Frigate Corvette, 84 resistance. So this is a good gunboat candidate. 36 knot max optimal speed though, so that's pretty nice. It's very big as it currently stands. It cannot be that small, evidently. 2,000 tons. How about 1850? That kind of works. Simple barbette tower. Big dual funnel thing. Or just 2 of these. For 1 more funnel capacity and a lot less deck space taken up. Yeah, I think that's a obvious choice. I push you further back by a smidge. Alright then, main guns. I got Mark IV 6-inch before Mark IV 5-inch. Now for the torpedoes. Will they still fit when I make them big? No. They will not. I target the tiniest funnel. Can I then push the barbette tower slightly further back? I might have to increase the length. Yeah, I have to increase the length. To make those torps fit. So we're now at 2,000 tons. Making the ship a bigger target. And a more expensive, less expendable ship. That's the closest I can get them. No. See? They need more room than it looks like they need. That doesn't work. This works. So that's really something to keep in mind. But the ship is now overweight. Of course it is. I haven't done this yet. Induced lighter. No, balanced is lighter. How about forced? 1717. 1712. Balanced is the lightest. We're gonna have to make this a little bit faster though. Can we push it to 36? Probably not. 34 and they can keep pace with those big battle cruisers. It's 1925 still, right? I think it is. Or 26. We're gonna call them 25s. Auxiliary 3 is expensive. It's heavy. Also expensive. We got only 140 tons to play with here. So, can't really add on too much stuff now, can we? The torpedoes themselves are not that heavy. It's everything else that is heavy, especially this tower, which I might have to replace, but if I want to save any significant amount of weight, I will have to go to a much worse tower. I'd like to have some tower spotting on these destroyers. There we go, overweight already. So that in a pinch, they can actually scout for those battlecruisers, if the intention is that they work together. Let's go semi-ballistic. Can you pen enemy destroyers? I think you can, yes. Haven't even done the armor yet. The uniform 1-inch armor plate. Gonna have a little bit more on the... Oh, no, that's the armor. Never mind. On the turrets. so they don't get blown up. But now we are way overweight. I'd like to have functioning turrets, though, on my destroyers. Now I can actually just go pure semi. At 7,500, we're still penning 1.1 inch. That's enough to deal with the destroyer. And we can do some pretty nasty damage to it as well. But sadly, we obviously have to reduce some things here. The only secondary towers we have available are these barbette towers. So, they have to stay. How about we decrease the draft? Then push it back up to 2,000. Still 10% overweight. Reducing the bulkheads don't do that much. I can reduce the speed, but how much do I want to sacrifice to make this work? At 30, the ship can be built, but it can no longer keep up with the Buruklu class battlecruisers. So the 34 knot top speed is a requirement for this to do what it's supposed to do. Flashfire challenge is very good. You can just skip the barbette protection. 3.4%. I think we can survive with that kind of flashfire chance. $20 tons per torpedo launcher. So they're not the ones breaking the bank, so to speak. $5.5. Let's keep them 5.9. Because that's the that's 150 millimeter. But we can possibly go single barrels. And the accuracy is the same. They're not that much lighter. Well, we're going to keep the doubles. We're going to keep the doubles. But what then to reduce? Range? Well, that's kind of... they're going to keep... With the battlecruisers, they need to have a little bit of range. Maybe this project is just better off until we get gear turbines 2. And possibly some other technology to make different things lighter. I think so. I think the DD-25s... it's just a failed project that never really lived up to the requirements. But let's take a look at these things. Guard ship. Tiny one. Yeah, I remember these from my Norwegian campaign. Can't really do that much with them. Max optimal speed 30 knots. But I also remember these things. The corvettes. These are reasonably tanky, with 84 base resistance. I wonder if that's an oversight, because that's a lot more tanky than any destroyer hull. If we go 1800, 30 knot top speed, max out the bulkheads Because these are going to be tanking things with their face, basically. Balance spoilers. Let's keep the the semi-oil. Let's keep them cheap. Like very, very cheap. You can have that tower here, which looks tiny on this hull. What is best for like torpedo spotting? This thing? That's tall and ugly. Yeah, let's not. That kind of works. Got these or the mercantile funnel. 4. Got the best funnel cap. Now I think 4-inch guns are the biggest you can fit on these. Yeah, they are. But are the Mark IV 3-inch guns, are they superior? To make them 3.9s. I think this is going to be a little bit unorthodox, but I think we're going to be looking at something something akin to a an anti-aircraft ship. Just intended to deal with enemy destroyers and stuff. Gonna have some torpedoes on it though, because they are fairly lightweight. We make them 24-inch. That's a decent torpedo punch too. And if we keep these cheap, might have to go with oil too, just to keep it lighter. If we keep these cheap and small, they can fit into a bunch of different ports. Can even have secondaries on them. Yes. I can keep the maintenance under 1 million. And the cost under 20. Okay, there we go. Overweight. But resistance is very good. Minus 51% gun damage. Plus 100% slope design. Increases ricochet chance. That seems like very good. 28 knot top speed. These are not going to be operating with any ships in the fleet. I'm gonna replace that one 3-inch gun with a 4-inch actually. Just so we have one like actual main gun on this thing. Cordite 3 and TNT 3. Electrical turrets. Enhanced reloading. Oh, we're closing in on that weight now. Range is not very good. I don't want to reduce the beam because that reduces this thing's survivability, which is kind of the one thing it does acceptably. We can fit a cheaper tower. Simpler air tower. It's very small and simple. Then we can move everything a bit further back. Oh, they don't fit here. Again, the game is trying to trick me into thinking something works when it doesn't. I'm gonna have to move that like so. You rotate, right? Yeah, you work. Right. 3.9s, as I said. Just make sure they... Just make sure they still work, I said. But of course, nothing seems to work the way it's supposed to work. Like, they can start like here, but then they can't traverse. Because of something. I've had that problem a few times already. With other ships. Torpedoes and guns. The game will first make it look like, oh, this works. No problem. But then... nothing actually works. See here? Same thing. Means we gotta find a tiny barbette for that thing. Super firing barbette tiny. Is that the tiniest one I have? Or there's this one. Do I actually have to find a barbette tower? I don't have one. I don't have a barbette tower. On this thing. We're going back to a 4-inch turret here. Now you work. Then you probably still work as a 3.9. Right. How about a 4.5? That means you can get a little bit of armor as well. We're gonna armor up the rest of the ship, of course. There we go. Guns are decently protected. Cost is almost 18 million. Maintenance is very cheap. Is this a great little boat? No, it ain't. Can it protect a port from enemy raiding ships? Yes, it can. Gear turbines, that's too expensive. Let's keep it like that. And this is the... what's corvette in Turkish? Hang on. It is actually corvette with a K. So there we go. These will be placed in the tiniest of ports, where I cannot fit a light cruiser even. And they're just gonna sit there and wait for the enemy to do a port strike mission. And they're gonna try and defend the transports and maybe sink something with these torpedoes. Or if, as it often is the case, that the raiders are destroyers, it's gonna engage in a gunfight. And then just try to tank shots while hitting them back. Which it should be capable of doing. The What's the hull stability here? 48. Not great. But on par with most destroyers. So, yeah. K-55. 25. Excuse me. With, kind of strange proportions, but there we go. Now, the DD-25 design that I showed you, I'm pretty sure I can build it 5 months from now with the engines. 6 months from now with the oxygen-fueled torpedoes. And it's just going to be what you saw, but hopefully not overweight, so I can actually save and build it. But this has gone on long enough, so I'm just going to do that on my own, and I will see you again when it's time to go fight someone. Which, hopefully is going to be France. They're building some ships. I think they launched a bunch. Yeah, this turn. A bunch of light cruisers. Yeah, because they were building more than 8. But that's good. At least one of the AI nations is actually building stuff. Well, Britain too. United States seems very content to just have 6 ships. Alright. Goodbye, and take care.